Whew. I'm here. Sorry for the wait. Vol, Asamia, Yeast, Nad, Taikuri, and Brian. What's up? I may have to make some changes. Is this thing plugged in? Acoustic, how's it going? Oh, let me try something out. So some of you may have remembered a couple days ago I made the microphones more sensitive. I just made everything louder. There goes your font. Oh, sorry, Blackberry, sorry. Oh, Blackberry, you'll love this. The ceiling is made out of like those foamy, weird, spongy tile things like you'd see in an office building or school. And so they just straight up go like, they sound like a little snare drum. That's not my guitar. And so I try to move it, and it kind of just changes the frequency that... See? Oh, buzzing gone. Holy sh... Ay, 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 ay. Suspended tile ceiling, yes. There's like the metal beams going across this whole thing, and so it sinks and sags. Oh my god, it's terrible. Been looking forward to this one song called Pastime with Good Company by Henry VIII. That's the name of the song. It's a really long song. Sang in early modern English, what makes it interesting. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. What is it about it that you're so much looking forward to it? A beast? So noisy? Yeah, they're not noisy until they are. So I don't know what happened recently, but it feels like the past week or so. They got extra noisy. It only used to be this one G, probably because it's also the loudest note on this guitar. Sometimes this one G would do it and I'd push up on them and it would go away for a long time. But now it's like, oh god. I played this chord, it was like yesterday, and I was like, what's the deal? And it ended up being this F, and then, you know, just you guys saw just now, this E, it's like, ugh. But, alright. Interest in linguistics, classical music, and history. Oh, I see. I see. Speaking of, God, I'm very conflicted on what to do here. I want to make like a little, well, I want to make a big sub goal, but really I actually want to make a little one because I don't know about the big one. I feel like is too much of a commitment for today. Does anybody have any ideas on what a mini little sub goal could be? What is something you'd like to see in the stream that's not a humongous commitment? Weather stripping on the tile tracks. I'll definitely have to look into it. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'll have to try out some stuff. So I'll think about that. Weather stripping on the tile tracks. Puma, what's up? Thank you for the 4-month resub. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I keep forgetting about this camera angle. I'm trying to think of something just for this stream, something really small. Someone brought up a video. I don't know if people will like it, but it's the video's over an hour long, and so actually going through the stuff, I'd imagine would be like 2 hours. So you have to think about the, you know, appropriate financial balance of, you know, how much is 2 hours of stream time worth. And I don't even think I can commit to that tonight. I'm just like too busy with other stuff. I can probably only stream for a couple hours, but because it seems like really the only way to get people to, for the most part, incentivize them to support the stream is to give, I don't know, to actually just have sub goals. Just being here and playing the music and stuff just doesn't seem to be enough. Even if it's something silly, like the wine thing I did. It's like, right, how silly is that? But it was something. I don't know. But that's a lot. I don't know how to think of a new thing for every stream. Hook it up to a foot switch? That's what I do have. Here, I'll hit the switch really loud. Oops, I pressed the wrong one. I'm on top of it. I just got to remember, because I have to click in a very specific part of OBS. It has to be the window on top, and I have to be in one section of that window, or else it doesn't work. And then I have to think about it too. So as I'm doing this, you know, I'm trying to think about the music. Maybe I do something. Yeah, maybe go some blam 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 blam, and end up going like. The goal is like thousands of subscribers. The goal is everything you can possibly give. That's the goal. And I say everything because already everything you would be able to give wouldn't reach that. So where is it said to the audience that I need money? I don't know where to. I don't know. See, I think that's one of the problems with streaming. Perhaps the culture around it, you could say. I got to tell you how much money I need. Like, what do I... Okay, so if I make a goal for 300 subs, what do I put as the description for the goal? You're a bit shocked? By what? The notation video? No, I don't know. These are the things, guys, these are the things I just don't know. It's like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, I'm not sure about monthly sub goal. I mean, I could do it, but the thing is, I want it to be more than a monthly thing. But we could do. What the? Because really, the monthly sub goal would be like 3,000 subs. Let's say at least 1,000. I don't know, 2,000. Okay, there you go, guys. Your favorite whoa, who was the singer? Do stream goal? Well, I can't do that one right now because I literally don't have the wine. Yeah, this like isn't very simple to do right now to put up a sub goal like this. I could do it manually. Bit goal, tip goal. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm actually already getting a little overwhelmed and frustrated because the more I do this, the more people don't want to watch someone set up stuff on stream. But now the goal is there's a goal here. Man, how do I say this? I'm actually gonna okay, I'm not gonna say anything. Hey, Emmy, what's up? Thank you for the raid. Quejibo, welcome in. Poor guy? Who? Me? Emmy, how was your stream? Wait, there was, what was I gonna say? Oh, you wanna, I can, I was thinking about sharing some, soul-crushing bad performance experiences. It was grand. Oh, wait, why the wink? Okay, accidental. I don't know. It was like, oh, it was grand, or maybe it was a. You don't have a grand piano, so I was like, is this a piano pun? I mean, one of them. So I played for this person. His name is Oscar Gilia, and he's this like older guy. And he's like, you know, super guitar master, someone who people unironically in the guitar world refer to him as maestro, which is a thing, by the way. Oh, hello, Hunpier. And I played for him, and I played this piece, and at the end, he just like sat and looked at me, and he's like, do you know any studies for guitar? And so I listed some, and he's like, no, good studies. I'm like, oh god. He's like, do you know anything by Soar? And also he's very intense, and he has this, he's Italian. He's this bigger guy, but his voice is like very high pitched. No, something a good study. Do you know any Fernando Soar? You know any Soar? I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll play this. And so we played this thing, but it was quite, to play a piece of music and then have the person just be like, yeah, that wasn't good. You're not ready for it. You gotta play this like, you know, play me a study piece. It's almost like play the most, not childish thing, but just like, well, think about it. No, he seems to be very nice to me also. Gramophone. Thank you for the $5. Nothing better than a walk by the lake and being educated by Rafi. I will educate you. Thank you, Gramophone. And Hunpier, thank you for gifting a sub to Emmy. I did another one where I played this piece by Bach. It was horrible. I would get so nervous. I would look like this for years. It wouldn't actually sound like that, but I'd be like, and like, guitar it's bad for any instrument. Classical guitar might be a little special in how bad it is. I could imagine bowed string instruments would be extra bad as well, right? Because they need to be so precise here. And also, if your bow is shaking, it's like, well, good luck. You're gonna need more than good luck. So yeah, it was like terrible because of the direct contact you make with the thing that actually creates the sound. But I played for him another time, and I played this piece, and we stopped, and at the end, he was like, all we talked about was how to try to center yourself. Now, we did end up talking about the music a little bit, and that was when he said something that was very poetic, and perhaps overly poetic in some way, but also something I tried to think about, which is we talked about what makes up this music. Like, what is that? What did I just play? How do you make sense of that in your mind? And there's all sorts of different ways to make sense of it, and the more ways you can think about it, the better. about this? What was that? And so we talked about this stuff. And his way of thinking about it, he was like, when he said at the end of this terrible experience, was that if I were able to do that, if I were to break down and understand the parts of this piece by Bach, then he said I would be Bach. Try to resist the puns. And this was over 10 years ago. This was well over 10 years ago. And at this point, I think I understand what he means, and it's something I've talked about on stream, which is the idea that if you look at this as just like a series of notes, or maybe even worse, a series of places where your fingers go, then like, oh God. Again, good luck. What's up, One Light? But if you can think about it as, you know, this is you're going. You're just going like this, 5, 1, in terms of the chords. But it's more elaborate than that. That you're using a particular mode. You're using a particular mode of harmonic. We hear melodic minor. So, natural minor, harmonic minor, melodic minor, and we learn this in school. Hola, Fer. We learn about this in school, and when what they tell you is you play melodic minor when you go up, and natural minor when you go down. Has anybody heard that? Anybody hear that before? That's just like how it's taught. But what it doesn't tell you is that's not how it works. It doesn't tell you anything about music. Literally, that's not how it works. What really is, there's a use for this. And one of the ways you can think about it is this scale is used. One of the ways you can think about it is over a dominant chord. If we're in E minor, our 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is major. It could be a 7th chord, or it could be like. But over this, we use this scale. And so that gives us something like. And then we're back to here. Now we're getting. Oh, that's melodic minor going down. What the heck? So these are the things I believe Oscar was getting at. So now can you hear? That's this scale being used. That's why there's a C sharp, a D sharp, and now we're back to E minor. Does it show up here again? Yeah, I think it happens here. Okay, it's melodic minor, descending again. Whoops. And now it's not that because we're going over to D major. So if we go for... Oh, there's a G sharp, so now we're going to A minor. This is D major in first inversion. So those are the types of things, and that's just one aspect, thinking about you could say the modes or the set of scales being used at any one point. And that relates to the harmony, I mentioned the harmony to E minor, descending E minor scale. B major, the thing we talked about. This is a 2. We think about this in jazz. All right, take care, Emmy. Thank you again for bringing everyone over. Again, when it comes to the guitar stuff, I was serious. If you're curious to talk about some of this stuff, and if you want any help playing an E, look at how simple E flat major can be. Look at this. But if you're strumming, yeah, this might not work. That's so easy. Oh my god. How easy could this chord be? I'm trying to think of a purposefully annoying way to make it seem easier too. Technically, this is E flat major. Actually, this too. But no, yeah, doing this is not fun. Because it's D major. Or going like... Right? Which is what you would have been doing in the... Like, I don't know. Maybe we're doing finger picking stuff. I can't remember, but... Nerd alert! Nerd! Get him! Throw him in the trash can! Stuff him in his locker! Did anybody actually get stuffed in their locker or see anyone get stuffed in their locker when they were a kid? I only saw it in movies. Alright. Enjoy the food. Okay. Call me a nerd? I'm calling you all nerds. Just kidding. No, this is like the opposite. I'm going to teach you guys for not being nerds. Still hear that? Okay. Here, I'll play this piece. Actually, I'll play the Sarabande that comes a little later, but I'll start out with it cuz playing the two pieces together make it kind of nice, but first some knuckle cracking ASMR. Raz, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? I thank you for the claps. I do appreciate it. Also, I put a message in Discord. I do appreciate the support for the video I put out. Again, the people who are in the stream, last stream, know how not great I felt about it. So, but I appreciate it. Thanks, Emmy. And so this is even something I haven't played this in like at least a month or so or something. So like, oh, we haven't done oh god, we haven't done any Andrew York stuff in a while. Let's do all three of them. Huma, you're getting triple. You're gonna get a triple decker. I'm gonna give up on this. I was gonna say it, you know, a triple decker Andrew York sandwich. Thank you for the 100 bits too. But yeah, so again, for the people, well, oh god, dude, I cannot finish thoughts in life. I have a new video out on YouTube. It was an improvisation I did. There's a lot of intense emotions behind it, which you'll see. But that's partly makes it even more difficult than it already is to improvise on the guitar. So there were a lot of mistakes and stuff, and I really felt incredibly self-conscious about it. But people seem to like it. So if you like it, I was gonna say that's all that matters, but that's obviously not all that matters. There's never just one thing that matters. That's a nice way to put it, but perhaps a more realistic and less cheesy way to put it is that it matters enough that I'll do more of them. Because I have here, let me. They sounded modern. Gotcha. To show you the list of stuff here, you want me to show you a visualization of this sort of anxiety that I have? This is a list of all the pieces and improvisations and stuff that I've done. Starting here. This goes back a few years. So starting here, all of this stuff, if it's green, it means it's like, it could be used, but I wasn't sure about it. If it's blue, it's out on YouTube. But the white stuff is like, I just also didn't really feel good about. So look at how much stuff. And then it ends here. So these are all things, most of which I don't feel good about. So they've remained on my hard drive. Literal terabytes of me playing music that are inaccessible to anyone but me. So, yeah. Okay, Andrew York. For everyone, but specifically for Huma right now. Whoops. Okay, so we'll start with Square Suspended. No, what if we start with By Candle? No, we'll start with Snowflight. Wow. We'll do Snowflight, By Candlelight, and then Square Suspended. So we'll end with Huma's actual request. Hello, Alexis. How are you today? Or actually, it should just be like Alexis. I can't remember. Did we ever talk about how to pronounce your name? We must have, right? If anyone wants a good beginning guitar song, this one's great. It sounds like a real song, right? You never use more than 2 fingers at once. But you don't really care. I just like to know for you, like, because it looks like Helexis, but you are French, right? Or at least a native French speaker. And so you guys don't pronounce H's at the beginning of words, so Alexis. Peut-être. Did I switch too much? I'm trying to find a balance. So people have mentioned, so thanks for the claps. People have mentioned making it automated, which I don't want to do, because I think it should be used to enhance the music, so it should fit musical phrases and such. And so that obviously requires control over it, which I can do. I just have to remember. Also, the actual music at the moment might suffer because it takes some extra coordination. And sometimes I'm flipping stuff. At one point I was flipping stuff with my left foot and changing the camera with my right foot, but whatever. It's just like an organ player for good evening, Captain. You're just in time for some more Andrew York, which we haven't done in, I feel like, forever. Because at one point I felt like it was a daily basis thing, but okay, so a couple more for Huma. I also have to remember to click there. Okay. So that was By Candlelight by Andrew York. And now, this one I do have to read. Square Suspended. Okay, so this should be like as relaxing as possible. And I mean like listen to this opening. Hey, Maddie, thank you for the raid. How was your stream? What's up? Welcome in, everybody. Hello, Yazcore. How do you say this? Chazu Bao? Maybe. And Vol, thank you for gifting a sub to Dresdy. Damn, that's a lot of 13-month sub. PJC Joaquin. I'm assuming it's Joaquin. Gonna lurk for what? Okay, yeah, go for it. Go for it. So thank you for bringing everyone over. Wait, did we get a shout out for Dresdy? We did. God, I can't keep track of stuff. Man, I got so jumbled up. Speaking of I hadn't played this in a while, so I was reading and I forgot. I went to switch the camera, and then also I had to switch the page, and I was like, oh shit, what am I doing? Here, let me do something memorized. Also, Huma, thank you again for the bits and the sub for those 3 songs. I'm gonna play what's technically a study piece, but this just goes to show you, because we talked about study pieces a little bit ago. They can still be things that you can use to perform. It doesn't necessarily mean they're bad pieces of music. No. Ready? And this should be easier to switch the camera because I have it memorized, so. think I may just switch the camera once per section. I don't know, let's see. Ooh, you'll get a good view of the tremolo, which looks like this. I play with my thumb, and then these 3 fingers. Thumb, these 3 fingers. Thumb, these 3 fingers. So if I play evenly and consistently enough, your ear should start to get tricked into thinking it's just sort of one continuous thing. Can I trick you? Okay, let me not buzz on like the first note. Cupcake Georgie Buzz the Bee Welcome in. Hate Front, nah, no black metal today. We're changing it up. Umschlag. Umschlag. They are so expensive. It's the one thing I say about them. Every time people ask me about this, I tell them it's my favorite guitar support. It's great. It's just the most expensive guitar support I've ever encountered. For me, though, because this is my, guitar is my life and profession and stuff like this, it's worth it enough to me. I can imagine for a lot of people it would not be worth it. A 1 hour a day hobby. Yeah, oh God, they're the best. They look great. They're convenient. Boom. They're not paying me, by the way, so this is just my honest opinion. A lot of people like, what's it called? Although you may not be able to hear me now because it looks like an ad just started. Oh no, it's going to start in a minute. So, yeah, there are other ones that use like suction cups. I have this one, which is much cheaper, which is actually, oh, Jesus Christ. This guitar is plywood, so literally, so it doesn't matter. It clamps on, it's much cheaper, and as long as you oil up, if you grease up this part, it doesn't make squeaking sounds. But then there's the guitar lift thing, the one that a lot of people have been using. It's huge though. It goes on the back with 4 suction cups. You'll see it's the one that has like the clear back thing, which a lot of people like, but I could do it more like that. Ready? God, it's the best. But yeah, I feel you. You don't have to glue the magnets. You can get the 3M, oh shit, what are they called? Blah, blah, blah. Just, they're like double-sided tape strips. Command tape, that's what I always think about it. It's like, why is it called command tape or command strips? It comes with it. And what you do is like, you place the magnets, commando tape. That's what I think. Yeah, I think like command tape. Like, I think of commando tape. Like, I don't, what's up, Satan King? Thank you for the follow earlier. But you can put this up to it. You can put the magnet. Actually, it's probably, yeah. You loosen the strings or take the strings out, put your hand in. Put the magnet in, put the other magnet in. Then you take one of the magnets out with this, you can play without the magnets taped in. You don't want to, but just to get used to it and to move it around, sort of see where you want the guitar. You already want to have an idea of where you like your guitar to be before using any guitar support. But yeah, you put the strip on and it's tricky, but you put your hand in it and let the magnet sort of bring it to where you want it to be. Press it in, take the other magnet out, put the strip on, do the same thing, and there you go. Do the classical guitar performances use fingers only? There's one piece, actually 2 pieces on the ensemble, one of the ensembles I'm in. And we have to do this. Even for this, I just use my index finger nail to... But yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I don't know how much the guitar lift, again, I think that's the name. I don't know how much it cost. I'd imagine it's cheaper. God, this thing is so expensive. But, yep, that's what I got for you there. So, speaking of, I mentioned this little piece earlier. This is the piece I played for Oscar Gilia when I played a piece for him in a master class, and the first thing he said was, "Can you play anything easier? Do you know any studies?" And I told him some studies I said, and then he said, "No, some actual good ones." Holy shit. And so we played this. Okay, let me do... That's even too much. So yeah, the fifth source study, at least number 5 in the collection of 20 that Segovia put together. Thank you, Fair. You know what, speaking of some of this Segovia repertoire, I haven't done this in a little bit. This is a classic. Yo, Coffee, thanks for the GL. Runs have been okay today. If you got into Adult 3, but then the run died. Yeah, I did. And Satan King, I'm glad you enjoy the music. I'm glad you enjoy it so much. It's painful. That's a good ugh. Do I know any Django? I don't. God, I don't even know what the sections of the 100% route are anymore. God, I haven't watched. Actually, I did. I watched Axel race Glitchy. What was that, like a month ago now or something? So I hadn't watched a Honda run in like forever. It keeps giving. All right, some more walking by the lake music. Oh. But yeah, Fully. No, I don't know any Django. I don't do any gypsy jazz. 100% TAS. I love those TAS stream things. Is there anything special about it, or is it just the most up-to-date one for that category? What was I gonna do? Oh, a song that I wrote. Also, let me. Just Moses. I'm still very interested to see it. I just didn't know if, like, it's like, God, what was the lowest number of pauses one? Was it 3 pauses? 2 pauses? No doors, tasks. Like, I enjoy those things too. Those are very interesting. You get to see a part of the game that you wouldn't otherwise. No door, right? It's so cool. You just, whatever I can do to just learn more about the game, because it's been 7 years. I've watched a lot of Ocarina of Time. It's like disgusting. It's gross. Repulsive. Okay, here's a song I wrote. It's been 84 years. Wait, is that from something? I'm curious to hear what, especially for those who've, oh, it's from Titanic. Okay, so she's recounting the thing. All right. I've thought about that too, Captain, except maybe not Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but sure, don't worry. I played on stream, what, Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Ocarina of Time? I would. We should do that. I made a sub goal. Well, sorry, a donation goal. Remember for the charity stream I did? We didn't reach it because the goals were too high, which, by the way, I didn't set. And I asked the people who did the charity if we could lower them, and they said no. But I learned the most recent defeat Ganon no SRM route. I did have to change it. I altered it. It's slower so that I could do it on an emulator, which doesn't allow you to do GIM, because I just didn't feel like setting up. Oh God, like I don't feel like bringing this stupid CRT over here and set up this stuff. I could do it. I could do like the legitimate route. I just didn't. Oh, it just seemed like a pain in the ass. I wanted it to be more of a demonstration, so then I could use like save states too. So I wouldn't have runs just totally die. Like, that's not fun for these purposes. I could totally do that. Oh, so yeah, I'm doing a research paper for one of my classes, and it has to do with how words and music. That's it. It's super general. But for me, I wanted to try to explore. I'm struggling with it to find resources, but I'm trying to explore the connections between the words we use to describe music. Like words, what sounds make us think, like what sounds come up when we hear a word and what words come up when we hear a sound. So what I mean by that is if I play like this, if I go like this, if I play this, what does a person think of? If I play this, for example, if I go like, do you think of anything? Or it could be simpler, like, people go happy, sad, that's. Or what if I go like, you get shapes? Well, how about this? What about the words, the words to describe the shapes? So this is something I'm very interested in. As someone who plays music, someone who, you could say, writes music. The land of the make-believe. See, I love that. Is that for this one? For one, I have a theory. I have some theories here. That's not really the point of this paper, but I do have theories, and there's not enough time for this. This isn't supposed to be in-depth, but the professor, I talked with her, she thought it could be possible to at least do a mini little sort of survey thing. Here's what I have as here's my theory. And this is based on people's what people have told me, right? So the theory did not start from the place of music. If that makes sense. It means what's my experience, what are other people's experiences, and from this it made me think of the thing. So this isn't because I'm still not even really sure what to make of this, but here's sort of the theory. Here's the sound, essentially, you guys just heard. There's okay, C major. Now, what seems to happen is when you change one note, when you change this note to this note, you guys tell me what this now sounds like. And I'm trying not to play anything rhythmic. I'm trying not to play a song, but I'm just trying to sort of like mush the sounds into your ears. And really this. Anticipation, what are some other things? It could be shapes, it could be ideas, it could be feelings. Again, here's where we started. And now here. Anyone else? Anything? The more responses, the better. Opening field. Okay, anything else? And I'm purposely trying to be neutral in my response to it because I don't want you guys... There's no right or wrong answer. And in fact, the most right answer is the one that is not influenced by me or anyone else. 90s movie soundtrack? Yeah, anything. So 90s movie soundtrack. Anticipation. Opening field. friend Lydia. I actually really like the name Lydia. Light coming in. Trees and snow. Vertical lines. Because the whole point of this is data collection. That will guide you. And honest and open with as responses, with honest, open retrieval of the responses. All that is how you just peeking around a corner. Again, that's why there's no any attempt to try to give the right answer ruins it. Curious, lines shooting out through the lines. Now I wonder if we could, this could be tainting the experiment, but I don't think it is. I think it's helpful to get to a consistent a sort of lowest common denominator of language being used. So that tends to come with like a negative thing, lowest common denominator. But I mean like, so that it's all, how about this? It's almost like we're trying to pick the same unit of measurement or something. So if we can translate that, so like Fair said 90s movie soundtrack. It's like, is there something about the 90s movie? Like, why do you think, what part of the 90s movie soundtrack is it? Is it a particular part? Because I'm thinking, when I thought of that, when you mentioned it, it reminds me of like the beginning of a movie from the 90s. And the reason I bring that up is because if that's the case, if that's what you're thinking, that there'd be something very significant about that. And then what if I do this? Okay, so now, instead of going, I'm doing this. But now, I'm going to go, and so what does this make you think of? I'm trying not to do too many patterns. I'm trying to... Fever dream sequence, okay. The trolley. So let's see if I'll do the same thing with Fair. With Fair's response. What do you think it is maybe about the trolley, or what is wand waving with sparkles coming out? Whoops. Oh, that was not the right thing. Uncertainty. Disappointment. Toodles. Like from Peter Pan. Airy, dreamy. Rootless, autocomplete. I'm trying to play the right notes. So part of my theory is that those two are connected, and that they're connected in a very specific way. But before I go into that further, I'll play something that feels like the opposite. Drawing on a gnarled tree trunk, which that reminds me of the movie Hook. Speaking of Toodles, okay, so what if I do this? Whoops, sorry, there was not supposed to be a B natural. I did that by accident. Maybe I should do, I'll try to do this without... I just want to give the sound, so if we go... Hot sun, trickle of water flowing through a gorge, warmth, melancholy. We'll do it up here tonight. Sadness. Okay, so part of the reason I did that is because none of that seems to overlap with this or this. I thought of this thanks to our good old friend Jacob Collier. This is not the thing he was talking about, but my brain momentarily misunderstood it when exploring this thing that he was talking about. And I sort of thought of it in this way. Okay, so Captain Terrific made a joke about, was it someone named Lydia? Was it your daughter? Was it your girlfriend? This tends to give sadness. This definitely... And I'm gonna wait for acoustic to come back for a second. So here's sort of the idea. You know, I'll start. They do have a tritone, Lydian and the whole tone scale. Here's what I thought. Jacob Collier in this interview, he talked about super, ultra, hyper, mega, meta, Lydian. You guys all remember that ridiculousness? Super, ultra, hyper, mega, meta, Lydian. And so in the attempt to legitimately understand it, instead of being like, oh, that's a bunch of crazy words, I tried to think about it. Because what this was the beginning of a Lydian scale. So C, the fourth note is higher than it should be. So instead of, right, we all know that sound. Instead, and it feels like it's rising up somewhere. It's leading up to here. Now, what that whole ridiculous set of words he came up with was just to say that you continuously do that every 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that's what this scale was that he was talking about. But then there's another way to impose, or I guess superimpose Lydian onto itself. Okay. So what he was doing was playing part of a Lydian scale. This is just, man, how do you make it more than super ultra hyper mega meta Lydian? I don't know. Well, we actually don't need to. There's already a name for it, and this is what I mean. So what he did is he played part of a Lydian scale and restarted it. He shifted everything over by 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it starts 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what if you, instead of shifting it over every 5 notes, what if you just shifted over every second note? So what I'm doing, anywhere you start, you have the anywhere you start, you can play Lydian. We now have the sound of Lydian in those 4 notes. Well, what about starting here? We have Lydian. What if we start on this note? We have Lydian. The next note that we have Lydian. 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 But we're back to where we started. C Lydian. D Lydian. E Lydian. F sharp Lydian. G sharp Lydian. We could say B flat Lydian here. So what this made me think is, like, if this makes you feel, you know, think back to the words you guys said for this. People's responses tend to be something outward and open. I mean, geez, Gramophone, I think, used the word open. Like, you're traveling, some open place, whoops, not that. Some sort of adventure, some sort of exploration. It's really outward, it's up, outward, and forward and far away. Suspended midair, it's all like this. Even outer space. Maybe you're like floating out in space. I think that's because you're being taken somewhere, but you're never landing. If you do that and you get the sense of this being your home base, you've landed. You've gone somewhere. So you're here and you have an expectation. When you do this, that expectation is changed. And it's now becomes. So I played this scale. It doesn't sound like this anymore. It sounds incredibly solid and grounded. I doubt any of you would have said suspended midair, used any of the words, even though it's the same set of 5 notes. But because now here's where you're coming from. It's like you're going out, you're expecting to land, but you don't land. You never land. I'm tempted to make what would be only superficially clever. I said you never land, and someone mentioned Peter Pan. But that would actually be not an accurate use of these words, but, and I despise when people do that. And at least when they're being serious. So then I thought, like, okay, if that's outward, what can be more outward and open and uncertain and airy and all this stuff than being up in the air or being out in space or having some journey? And there seems to be something, and this is, I really try to be careful about this, to not do also the thing I just mentioned, which is to not be too sort of poetic about it. But I really mean this. And again, it is just a theory. I'm not sure how you could prove it. I'm not sure it is like a provable thing, which you could go like, oh, therefore it's not a theory. I'm using the terms loosely. This, if this is Lydian and this is this outward thing, and this is more outward, if this is more outward than the limits of space and all this stuff, it's like, what could be more open and vast and expansive than the entire universe? Right? It's like, well, nothing. But it's like, not true. Not true. This is super corny, but it's just, I don't mean it in that way. But our imagination is more open. The classic one, a unicorn does not exist in the universe. As far as we know, okay, whatever. It can exist in our minds. Anything can basically exist in our minds. There's more possibilities in our minds than there is anywhere else. And so I thought, like, if this is so outward and so uncertain and bringing us so far, there's also no stability here. There's tritones all over the place. There are no perfect fifths to ground us. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. Every chord is augmented. Well, I'm not talking about good or bad music. I'm not talking about music itself. I'm talking about a series of sounds and your natural response to a particular sound. Again, like, this isn't, a song. It's just like, this is a sound. It's like, what is this sound? And it's like so far out beyond, it's so unstable and it's so uncertain and it's so open and it's so far beyond this. So our dreams have fewer limits than the universe does. Our imagination has that. And it makes me feel like it's so out there that, like, it's almost like the only thing that could connect with that is like inside our minds, if that makes sense. There's so much uncertainty, instability, ambiguity. Everything is totally even. There's no one place. You're not grounded anywhere. There's an equal amount of distance between every set of notes. This is the same distance away as it is from this, as it is to this. These two are the same distance as these two, as these two, as these two, as these. There's just nothing. It's too balanced. It's too symmetrical. Between natural sounds and musical instrument sounds? Maybe, depending on what your goal is. I mean, for me, I'm just trying to think about pitches, in a series of pitches. and there has to be some coherency, but like if yeah, there needs to be a system in place, because if there's no system, then there's nothing to actually talk about. There's no exploration that can be had. I could give more I don't feel like giving more details as to why that is, but that is the case. Math and physics behind music. I will, and I have, and we could do that, like. But thinking gamma. So if I'm talking about a very specific area of sound, it's pitch, and the pitch is naturally, pitch is not arbitrary to us as humans. It's just not. I think it's cooler that it's not arbitrary, by the way, but that's not really important. The thing with the from what I understand about the gamelons, which for those who aren't aware, I mean, I could show you for a second. So they typically are associated with Indonesia. Oops, I missed half the word. It's the first video that comes up. I don't know what it's going to be. So already what we have here, it's not perfectly in tune. It's not equal ratios, but we actually have a fifth, a perfect fifth, an imperfect perfect fifth. But it's like off. But even here, there's something here. But I mean, listen to what they're they just outlined, literally just outlined a minor chord. Well, so I bring this up because this is something it's a place we have to start with. We can't pretend this doesn't exist. But we need in order to explore, you need a system to explore things. I'm not really sure I can get into that any further. Without the existence of a system, some sort of system, there's no potential for exploration. There's no linking up of two things. You can't say because this, now this. There's no system. There's just nothing. Like, without systems, you don't have anything. So to get back to like the natural sounds versus other things, It's not even that natural sounds aren't important. It's just like, this is a system. We're just going to pick one system. And this happens to be a system of sounds that tends to not occur in nature because of how fine-tuned it is. It's difficult to experience in nature. So, and if your system and your instruments, quite literally, instruments here, well, not that other instruments, like to detect things, like, yes, those are instruments, but this is instruments on two different levels. This is like, this instrument here, if this can be fine-tuned, it helps us explore. It's very sensitive. Same thing with our ears. We're using our ears here. There's a system in place, and it's this use of this system that can give us information about a particular area of life. Is what's happening. This tells us nothing, for example. This tells us nothing about the composition of stars. Right? Like a piano in our ears and our brains combined will tell us nothing. They're not suited for that. That's not the system in which they're both calibrated or sensitive to it. It doesn't operate in that realm. So, but thinking about it through this lens, we can think about. We don't even have to make it that crazy. This is just how humans respond to things. Perhaps it could uncover some more stuff about nature, but that's not even my goal here. In fact, there is no real goal. Exploration itself is both the means and the end. At least at the moment. If something comes up, that's cool. But it was just something I noticed, that this seems to give people a response. This whole tone scale seems to give a particular response that appears to be the heightened version of this. That was really all this was. It was the idea that whole tone seems to be a hyper exaggerated version of Lydian. Do you guys remember where this all stemmed from? I do. It's because I was about to play a song, and I had something very specific in mind when I wrote it. And so I was curious to hear what pops up in people's minds, and then to see if it's the same as what was in my mind. That message, that typo on the message, so hard to type on this feet, is beautifully sort of ironic. The difficulty, the frustration, the difficulty from typing up on the phone played a part in the attempt to say it. So, what does this make you think of? Blackberry. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the claps. Fair. Is that from Forrest Gump? No. I wrote it. Well, what I just played, I was just making up. That came up when I did that. Also, I think I already have to go kind of soon. I know it's only been 2 hours, but it's almost 9 o'clock, and I'm gonna see if I can reschedule the student that causes the stream to start later. Makes you sleepy? That would make sense. I mean, it is slow and calm. There's maybe a rocking nature to it. 2 and 3 and 1, 2. Boom, boom. For under $500, you can. It depends on what you mean by decent, but I would say so. So it's not only going boom, dim, dum, boom, dim, but it also has something flowing underneath it. make it sound more movie soundtrackish because I agree. I agree, Killer. I agree. Exactly. Here come the strings. Yo, KP. What's up? Oh, did I put you to sleep? I put Alexis to sleep. So that was, I didn't intend it to be that starting out. I was just messing around. But that ended up being attempting to put those principles. Well, those principles are always at play whenever I'm improvising something. But to almost be even more clear about it. Huma, thank you for the bits. I do have to go. I know it's only been like 2.5 hours. Also, thanks for the claps. In your gramophone, it should have almost sounded like a return home at the end. I was trying. Wait, who said? So these are the things. Obviously, I could just be saying this. I could say whatever I want. But this was supposed to be like some village type thing. Well, that was sort of more of just like the adventure because we started with this. You said it, Nesty. So we did this and it was like. And so then we went, Huma, thank you for the 100 bits. The rupee thing is an emote. I don't know if you can see it, but... Yeah, that one specifically is BTTV. Yeah. Because they allow for animated emotes. But... Which, by the way, I think I have to get rid of... Well, not get rid of it, but just cut down. Get rid of the subscription, because it's just money I kind of like don't have. And instead just take those emotes there and use them through 7TV. Because 7TV, you have like 250 emotes by default without paying. So, yeah, what was the part that went like It was something like that. Dude! Wasn't there for a long time. I'll have to leave again, but that was awesome. Next time, One-Winged Angel theme. I'm gonna try, but holy shit, Nest T, $50. That's like, that's almost like just like the whole stream. Nest T, thank you for the $50. I'm going to, I was gonna, but we'll do this. Well, I was gonna play the ending song, but I'll do some Final Fantasy music. Just some quick ones. There are going to be ones you've heard before, but also probably I feel pretty confident saying the last time I did them was when you were here. So, but just this one last thing, because especially because you talked about it. So there was sort of like this. It's bouncy and there's energy. Like. Yeah, I was well aware, almost on purpose. I didn't go, who can I steal from? Koji Kondo, I'm taking it from you. But it popped up into my mind, and instantly I was like, oh my god, I'm just thinking of Saria's song. speaking of Lydian, so I thought about this, that's right. And so this made me, this is the Lost Woods theme. Lost Woods. Like, what were the words we used to describe? What were some of them? They were like describing this stuff. It was like, you're going somewhere, you're never landing. Adventure, outwards, all this stuff. It's like, that seems to... all those words seem to fit the idea of being lost in some magical woods place. For one, being in the woods, a magical forest, and then being lost. Because he also used it for this, right? I'm almost, let me just, short summary about Lydian. The short summary is this. There's different ways to look at it. One is the actual notes. If you take any scale, there's 7 notes in a scale. 1, 2. Most scales, what we think, this is a major scale. The 4th note, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you just move it up by 1 note, it gives you a particular mode. A mode is very similar to a scale. In a certain sense, it is a scale, but it's not. Hold on a second. Sir, a message. We've intercepted a message from the Russians. Breaking news. Hi, Rafi. This is from Jeff Sigurdson. It's the person making my guitar. Hi, Rafi. I'm super close. I recently had some bad luck. Otherwise, I'd be done. I moved my guitar making shop closer to home, so I was happy to be moving. On the second night, I was broken into and lost most of my tools. I had to immediately find another shop and move again because they destroyed the door and were obviously coming back that night. The good news is that I got another shop, and all they got was tools, which I'm replacing. I had the guitars in Bestwood at home, so after all that, I finally got some workstations set up and I've been working on your guitar. It's looking incredible and getting close to finish. It's been very busy, but everything is back to normal. Just in. It's literally just... so... sounds awesome. I hope so. I guess it's good because I hadn't heard from him in a little bit. Okay. Lydian. We can't do this. So it's just when you take this any major scale, and the 4th note moves up by, you could say, a half step. So now you have... so what I just played was... well, why does this sound like Lydian? Because this is a major scale starting on F. And remember, we said Lydian is 1, 2, 3, 4, and raise it up by a half step. So now we have... so now look at the notes we use. In fact, it emphasizes that exact note. The B is that raised fourth scale degree, because it's supposed to be a B flat in a major scale to B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, B. But now it's raised by a half step. And so it looks like the notes of C major, because it is the notes of C major. But because we're drawn to this at first, our ears are like, okay, F. This is where everything is in relation to. So, and that's what's so important here is that we do hear things in relation to other stuff. Which again, what is it if I go, actually if I go, will this work? No, I don't think we'll go. That probably didn't feel very outward. Maybe that because it's on a... Even though we're hearing at that moment, we tend to be grounded around this note. And so then we were talking about how Lydian sometimes can make you feel, and it even happens sort of in the chords. If we go like, F Lydian, yes, specifically is the fourth mode of C. Because that's something we don't always talk about, is that a mode is, it depends on the context in which we're talking about it. But at this point in history, this point in time, a mode is perhaps best thought about as using a set of notes that apply to a scale that already exists. So, for example, we have this scale. Maybe I shouldn't use that one. I was gonna say. Just because it's not a super typical scale. Okay, let's pick one that's a little more typical. Harmonic minor. If we pick a different note to have our ear and everything centered around that's not C, we'll have a mode of that. So it could be... I use this one a lot because I love it. And I mean, we could actually go... This is kind of like, it sounds like a Phrygian of some. Because this is Phrygian. And in these modes, you do the same thing. You know how I've talked about, like, you pick a note and a scale, like you have your scale, and you just play every other note. You do the same thing here. Here's now our set of notes. And so we can go. Lydian makes us feel more attentive. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And there's different ways of describing it, and it depends on the context. Because this, if we go, there's more to music than just the harmony or the mode or whatever. Because if we do this, that's different than the same, not even just the same mode and not even the same key, but same composer, different game. If we play the notes in reverse and slow it down, we get well, you didn't know, yeah, so this, and this is the Song of Healing. Now, it's not the whole song backwards. Because it would have been something more like that, but... So, same mode being used here for the most part. All sorts of things make it actually end up feeling different though, but... Okay. Yeah, it's going down. Yeah, there are all sorts of things that are different, but... Okay, I said I was going to do a Final Fantasy thing, but I don't know if I can. It's like, I actually still have... I still got to practice a good amount, and do a reading in response to the reading, and eat food, and it's almost 9:30. And I gotta get up at 7 in the morning. Shit. But next time. Now, if anyone would like to help as well, perhaps with the subs, I'm looking at basically a wall of subs, so it's maybe not the most realistic thing to ask for, but it's a hideous schedule. Yeah, there's no... It wouldn't have to be that bad if parking wasn't a pain in the ass. I just hate rushing. I'd rather give up an extra hour of sleep just to not be in a rush in the morning. I used to always be late and always be in a rush, and I fucking hate it. I'm too old to be in a rush to get places. It's so stressful. I hate it. I hate it. KG viewing Euphoria by Tony Ann. I'm afraid I don't know what that is. Sorry for your dumb questions. There are no dumb questions. The only dumb questions are actually attempts to sort of brag and show what you know or make a statement, but you hide it in the form of a question. Those are the only ones. But you know when everybody knows when they're doing that. We all know deep down when we do that. But any question, I was just mentioning this to a student. I was like, because he apologized. It was the first lesson. Well, at least the first lesson with me. He's like 15 or so. He was like, he was nervous about asking something. And I was like, dude, if you've been studying guitar for 5 years and one day you're like, what's this thing called again? It's like, that's a string. If you're genuinely asking that question, it is much better that you ask the question and you ask it now as opposed to not asking at all and knowing or going any longer than you already have without knowing that this is called a string. So, like, just ask any question. I think it actually literally says that in the stream. Ask any questions you have. To be fair, I guess KG said, can you please play Euphoria? That's technically a question, so. But yeah. Now, if you don't know what the name of this thing that is called a string, after 5 years, there's maybe some other problems, but whatever. It's better that you know that. But like, the things we're talking about here are not simple things. In a certain sense, they're kind of simple, but they're not they're not common knowledge. You don't go walking through your day like oh, point to it, like Lydian. Like, you don't like think about modes. Like, that's why would you? Who's gonna tell you about this stuff? God, you could take music in school your whole life, essentially. Well, up through high school. And no one will even tell you what a scale is. Forget about modes. Forget about modes. Pretty sure most people don't know what a scale is. Or a chord. Like, they know, like, some notes and a chord is like some notes together, but like, that's about it. So, or key, people say, key, like, not their fault. I was just watching, oh my god, I have to, this video from the same person. Airwheeled put in Discord this video that I had watched before on music notation. And then this other person, that same person had a video on music elitism that I decided to watch after, which I'm still in the middle of, but they're talking about problems with music and music notation. You know what the real problem is? Psst. You want to know the real problem? It's not in the notation. It's in the fact that people aren't taught or just don't want to learn. So they're trying to, sorry, I hate to break it to you. So they're trying to solve a problem that sort of doesn't exist. well, maybe the problem exists, but they're trying to solve a problem, but the problem is misidentified. Oh, these people are giving up music? It's because of the confusing notation. Like, you're literally wrong. It's very easily provable. Or maybe prove isn't the word, but demonstrable. Think about how many people give up who use tabs. There's really no simpler way to get into music. Also, the proposed systems are no less confusing than standard notation. But the reason I brought it up, it just linked into the idea of like not being given information. So it's like, yeah, of course it's confusing. People struggle learning. It's like one person brought up in this presentation that the person in the video brought up someone else in this presentation for this new software and way of reading music. And it's like only 3% of people, 3% of the Earth's population or something like knows how to like read music or something. So therefore it's the music notation system. It's like, no, it's probably because 97% of people weren't encouraged and or forced to actually learn. And you just gotta force people. It's not a bad thing. It's not. I know the word force is used, but it's really not bad. Especially if the kids are young. Just like you force them to learn how to read. Or at least you should force them to learn how to read. You should force them to go to bed at the right time. At least most days. You should force them to eat at least relatively properly. You should force them to brush their teeth. You should force them to get some sort of exercise. You should force them to do all sorts of things. But, yep. And at this point, I'm done. I don't have the energy to pretend like I don't have the energy to have my mind open enough to be like it's not a good thing. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I haven't heard anything I'm sick of it. I'm sick of pretending that no, maybe I shouldn't. No. So, yep. This is a whole other rant I could go about, and I can't do it, but just trust me. Just trust me, bro. Yeah. Ending song. Again, if you're able to subscribe, donate, cheer, be super helpful in terms of just money. But also it'd be very encouraging. Just like I mentioned with the YouTube video. There are like hundreds, or at least 100 potential videos that aren't out. One of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reason. Speaking of getting at reasons, the actual reasons for the problems, for me it's just motivation. I don't feel good about it. So the more motivation and reassurance and sort of like validation, because this stuff is about you guys. I already know the music. I listened to it. I was the one who played it. The more signs I can get that you guys actually want to listen to this stuff, the more likely I will be to put it out, if that makes sense. Right? It's like, if not, I'm gonna look at the music and be like, why would I take the time? And even if it was easy, why would I put it out if people don't want to hear it? So like, but yeah, that goes for support of the stream too. Suppression. Oh, you were telling me about that. I know what you mean. All right, ending song. Thanks for the hearts. Thanks, Gramophone. You were very welcome. Fair. That reminded me of like what's it called? Destiny Island from Kingdom Hearts. Can't remember how it goes. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay, so Friday I'll be on time. Unless something crazy happens. try to move the lessons that are for today to an earlier time so I'm not late. Speaking of being rushed and stuff, I did not like being in as much of a rush as I was. Now, speaking of OT, 100%, Marco is somehow streaming. He lives in France. He's been streaming for 6 hours, so he's crazy. Oh, there's a collaboration going on. Or I could just sit here and hum the bass. I won't do that. All right. So Sunfire, she's never on when I'm ending the stream, but she's doing a collaboration with Megan Linnaeus and John Lee. So I'm assuming that's why she's on it this time. So copy those raid calls. Or else. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Extra special thank you also to Nesty for that huge donation. That was kind of crazy. For the wonderful company. Oh, thank you. Seriously. Not like, oh, thank you. But like, actually, right? That's what. If not, I wouldn't want to stream if it wasn't for you guys. So I appreciate it. See, it's a mutual thing. That's the whole thing. All right. I can't get into a philosophical thing. Thank you for being here. Let us say hey to Sunfire, Megan, and John. And I will be back Friday. Again, unless something crazy happens. But yeah, it's 6 p.m. Eastern. Take care, everybody.